Perspective by Robert Fritz, narrated by Rosalind Fritz. Let's begin with its origins. In the early 13th century, Filippo Brunelleschi developed a geometrical process by which to describe a three-dimensional contour on a two-dimensional form. This was a breakthrough in art history because a painting could now look as real as if you were looking out of a glass window. At first, within the Italian Renaissance centering around Florence, a few painters learned the technique, notably Donatello. Understanding perspective was a trade secret. But, as more and more artists saw it used, they began to learn the principles. Eventually, books were written about the principles of perspective, and it became a common technique in realism. And there is something to be learned about how to live your life from the insight of perspective. In these paintings, distant objects became smaller, closer ones larger. That is very similar to how our eyes see. A small flower close to us may look larger than a very large tree very far away. Our brains are used to understanding that sense of size and relationship. If it didn't, people would seem to grow larger as they approached us and get smaller as they left the room. In our world, too often there is an obsession with obsession. People lose perspective. They lose their ability to see things in relationship with other things. When you're obsessed by politics or relationships or your career or your social status, some things seem bigger than they are. Some things that should have more standing seem smaller. Life gets out of proportion. You can lose perspective. This is unhealthy, and it negatively impacts your quality of life. Perspective in life gives you the ability to place the events and circumstances in your life in proper relationship to each other. An example of the opposite of this is road rage. Someone cuts someone off. Bad to be cut off, but not the worst thing that may have ever happened. Yet the person with the rage is thrust into the moment as if nothing else in life exists, and this offense is seen as the most terrible experience one can ever have. In Robert Fritz's books, he writes about this as the close-up frame in how we may view reality. There is no sense of future or awareness of the consequences of our actions. We can react to our emotional conflict in destructive ways, completely unaware of the obvious consequences of our actions. If we move from a close-up view to a medium-shot view of reality, just like in photography or painting, we are able to see the relationship of the parts to the whole. We can face difficulties with a sense of relationship to our whole lives. We can understand the events of our lives in perspective. This is a much better platform from which to create more and more of the lives we want to live.